Hey everyone! So coming at you tonight, and this evening I've been working in the yard. That's what I do when I get home from work. And I decided I had some hamburger that was thawed in there from the other night when we went over to our friend's house and had burgers. So took that hamburger and I decided to make meatloaf tonight. So I cooked it in my cast iron skillet that I have. I don't know, it's probably like an 8 or 9 inch skillet. Mixed up my meatloaf. I decided, you know what would be good in meatloaf? Corn. So I added some thawed frozen corn in there and put it in the skillet, and then I've been cooking it indirectly here on my Red Weber for, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes that it's been on there, and it is to temperature. And what else I cooked on here was I also roasted some potatoes on the grill, and the potatoes I took and I mashed them, and we are going to do, so when I was a kid, I got this little cookbook from my grandma and grandpa Fountain, and the cookbook had this recipe for frosted meatloaf in it. So I used my mom's meatloaf recipe, but because it was way better than the one they had in the cookbook, and then we would just use mashed potatoes to frost it afterwards, which is so pretty. Put some cheese on there, a little paprika. I'm switching it up a little bit tonight. So with the potatoes, when I roasted them, I added a little bit of the Spiceology Greek Freak, which is pretty good. And I'll tell you what, these mashed potatoes taste amazing. With that seasoning in there, I would highly recommend it. So I am going to, I'm just going to frost this. Let me flip my camera here a little bit. There is my meatloaf. Woo! There in the skillet. You can see that corn in there. Yeah. So I'll let you guys check this out. So I am just going to take my potatoes here and I am going to frost this like it's a cake. Works really good. So when I was first out on my own, my mom's meatloaf recipe called for cooking it at 350 degrees until done. And I was not sure what until done was. And I didn't want to ask her. It's like I probably should have paid attention. Finally, I did ask her, and she was like, I don't know, till done, maybe an hour. Turns out it's about an hour and 15 minutes for it to be done. And but that first one I made, I had cut into it so many times, just peeking to see if it was still raw in the middle. So this whole frosted meatloaf thing was a lifesaver back then. I didn't look quite as dumb, because you couldn't tell that it was all cut into on the top. And this is such a pretty presentation anyway. When I cooked this, I did it indirectly, and I added a little bit of smoke to it. I had those Jack Daniel's smoke chips that I used, just to give it a little bit of smoky flavor. So there you go, we got that frosted. There's some leftover that I am totally gonna eat. And then I'm gonna top this with a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese, because who doesn't love cheese, right? Just gonna put our cheese on there. Oops, I got some on the grate. I grabbed too much. Oh well, I'll use it for something else. There we go. And then for the topping here, usually I just use a paprika or smoked paprika. And tonight out of my little Spiceology trial kit, there was one called Cowboy Crust. It's an espresso chili rub. Smells amazing, like coffee, so check that out, guys. So I mixed equal parts of that with paprika and with my smoked paprika, and I'm just going to sprinkle some of that on the top here. Oh, because it smells so good. And I think it'll be really nice with that corn and potatoes and meatloaf. So sprinkling some of that on there, and I'm just going to cover this back up and let that cheese get all good and melty. Leave it indirect heat here. Let that get good and melty, and then we're gonna eat, guys. Have a great night, and I'll make sure that I post in the comments here some pictures of the finished product. Talk to you later. Bye.